Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casper the Boy Diviner, and today I wanted to do the hashtag second chance decks. So I know second chance decks were decks that left your collection and then you got it back into your collection to give it a second chance or to try it out again. And on my end, honestly, very rarely does any deck leave my collection just because I am so worried about selling them. I've had trouble with selling my decks and then people coming back to me again telling me, oh, the decks, they have too much energy, or things like that. So usually I try to sell to people I kind of know, if they want it, and if they don't, I just keep them tucked away in a box. So I do have a box of decks that I don't technically use, but recently I felt the need to pull some of them out to give them a second chance, and that's why I'm doing this tag today. Okay, the first one I wanted to talk about is the True Black. So a lot of people love the True Black. I got the version with the misspelled Hierophant. So because of that, my experience with the deck might be slightly different from yours. Okay, so firstly, I think everyone should know that the True Black is a rose petal finish, so it's hard to shuffle. This should ease with time and more use, but it doesn't seem to ease much for me. I've actually seen some of my friends' decks, and they are easier to shuffle than mine. And I suspect it's because in the original version of the True Black, which is the one I got because of the misspelled Hierophant, not because of it, but that the version with the misspelled Hierophant, they were actually using spot gloss to do the this shiny transparent layer. So this spot gloss is kind of sticky compared to after, which I heard, I'm not too sure, I'm not 100% sure, but after, it seems like they were using transparent foil. So foil, like gold foil or something, that tends to be smoother, that tends to be more slippy. Whereas this spot gloss here, it is honestly pretty hard, feels a bit sticky, if I have to comment. So because of that, shuffling this deck is a pain, it is difficult. And the other thing about it is it's so thick. So I know that, Kickstarter, sometimes the stretch goals, a thicker cardstock. I hate thick cardstock. I need a deck that I can use comfortably, and honestly, this is not it. And even though the imagery is beautiful, I find the True Black too difficult to shuffle, or a pain to shuffle. And I often doubt, what I pull out, just because I don't know if it's because I'm not shuffling right. I have all these doubts. At the same time, the Ephemera Tarot is now on Kickstarter, his new campaign, Arthur Wang. Plus, I do have a softer biasness towards Asian creators, so that's why I backed that deck. And I heard that that deck has a that deck has a thinner cardstock, so I'm looking forward to using that. It doesn't have the spot gloss, instead it has gold foil, which should be easier to shuffle. At the same time, it still has that stupid rose petal finish that I don't enjoy, but thinner cardstock, that's a win for me already. Thinner cardstock, and gold foil instead of spot gloss or anything like that. But as you can see, the images are beautiful. One thing about it is that it is a matte black in real life, but because of the photos that I take, right, it is in light, it kind of always turns out more gray than black, which doesn't make it easy to photograph for Instagram or even for my own memory, because sometimes the white parts kind of get faded out because the exposure is too high, and then I have to do things with my phone. Those are the reasons why I find this deck hard to use. At the same time, I do enjoy this deck. I just don't I don't enjoy shuffling it. And because of the Ephemera Tarot, I thought, I should give it a second chance. Let me practice using it. And then when the Ephemera Tarot comes, at least I'm familiar with both of them. I can use both of them at the same time, side by side. So you can see the details kind of disappear on camera. I can see them clearly in real life. But yeah, so those are all my niggles with this deck. But I do enjoy this deck. I do enjoy the imagery. And I guess it's time to start practicing again with this deck. Okay, I am going to move on to the next deck. So that's the True Black. And the next deck, as you can tell from my spread cloth that I decided to take up today, is the Marigold Tarot. So I feel like I'm one of the first to get this deck, or maybe close to the first, and I really enjoy this deck. The thing is, I don't like the box. The box has this huge insert. I think it's all air inside. So I kind of probably should get a bag, but it's a really thin deck. It's so good. you know, compared to the true black, let's take out the true black again. So the true black is this thick, and then this same 78 cards is about half of that size. I really love this. The thing is, when I got this deck, when I got the Marigold Tarot, it was kind of the start of my tarot reading career as well. Like, I only started reading for about a few months or so, maybe a year, and I found some of the Pippish like card images a bit difficult to read, like the Four of Cups. The Two of Cups easier because there's some symbology or symbolism here and there. But you see, like the Six of Swords, it wasn't clear to me what this meant. Even though now I know, right, by heart that the Six of Swords is about traveling, it doesn't really show here, and that's why I felt this disjunct using this deck. And there's no guidebook with it. The guidebook is a PDF, and you know, reading PDFs is not as easy. But apart from that, it does match the RWS meaning. So this does mean traveling. Six of Wands does mean victory, no matter what you see here. Another reason why I didn't want to use this deck was because of the Chariot. The Chariot really bothered me just because I felt like I didn't like how it was done. Basically, it is someone that is on a bike, and I just felt like that wasn't really the vibe of the Chariot. The Chariot is also my birth card, so I'm kind of particular how it's done. Of course, when I'm trying to look for the Chariot, it doesn't appear. Here's the Chariot. So you can see the Chariot is on a bike. And you know, because it's Punjabi inspired, I kind of wished we saw a more Punjabi mode of transport than this bike. The modernism of the bike kind of throws me off. At the same time, the images are so beautiful, so stark. And I think so far you can tell black decks and then just clean imagery with less colors don't seem to work for me so far, but I really like this deck. So I am committed to making it work again and learning what it means. So you can see the Ten of Cups here. You know, Ten of Cups is about wholeness, happiness, harmony, maybe even a dream. Here there are hangman knots. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to reconcile my understanding of RWS to this deck. At the same time, if the deck did have the guidebook, if the guidebook showed something different, like a different meaning to this, it would be something I could accept. But what I'm telling you is the guidebook says exactly the same thing as the RWS. So I guess there's some sort of learning curve here, trying to read visually. So perhaps I know that, you know, this means wholeness and happiness. At the same time, there is a sense of impending end. Nothing can stay so perfect forever. You know, I need to meld my understanding of the RWS meanings with the imagery that I'm seeing in this deck, and that is the tough part. But I'm committed to giving this a go. This deck has been in my collection for the longest time. And you know, there's a nostalgia factor, so it's really hard to let go. My heart still enjoys this deck for the sentimental reasons. Like this was there in the first year when I started reading. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna just move on to the next deck. The next deck I want to talk about is pretty similar to these two decks actually, and it's the Neon Moon Tarot. This was one of the first few Kickstarters I have, and while I really enjoy the world building, the art, I found this deck. I have always found this deck a bit difficult to read. I think it's also about the cardstock, how it feels when I shuffle it. It feels better now after so long. I guess it's because I've experienced worse cardstock, like the True Black, for example. But yeah, I do enjoy the imagery. I do enjoy the shuffling. I guess it's the same thing, you know, with the simple color palette. And I think these things don't really jive. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. I really like the Hierophant. There's something about how the cardstock, you know, have all these white bits. I just wish I held off, to be honest, for all of Pixel Occult decks. I wish I held off until he got the better cardstock, because I have a feeling all of them are linen now. The blacks show more truly, clearly. Yeah. And because this is a dystopian world, right? What Pixel Occult is trying to show, some of the cards that were traditionally happy becomes a bit more difficult to interpret. So Zend, Zend is Pentacles. 8 of Wires, so this is very clear. There's the Speed. 4 of Arms. Meditation, relaxation, very good. So I do enjoy it. Another thing that I found it very difficult to tell is the court cards. He does explain it in his guidebook. I just can't remember. So I'm guessing Executive is the King. And Apprentice is the Page. So it's something, you know, that I need to get used to it. Yeah. So another thing like this one, the 8 of Arms. In the RWS is someone that can walk free even though they're blindfolded, even though they think they are surrounded by danger. Here, this is someone who is literally trussed up. So there is that sense of dystopian here. And I understand for this deck that's what it is, but it makes it very difficult to read for clients especially, right? If you want to give them an uplifting message, this is not a deck that I tend to use. And even using it personally, sometimes it's not easy just because there's very little optimism, right, in a dystopia. Like, let me try to find the Sun card. Because the Sun card is an illusion here. And that's why it becomes hard to read. Agents are the Knights. Sorry, I haven't seen a Queen yet, so let me try to find. And the Supervisor, I think, is the Queen. Maybe I've already passed the Sun card, but the Sun card is an illusion here. So it becomes a bit more, here, the Sun. So you do see that baby and you do see the horse. But the Sun is an illusion, is on the screen. So there's the kind of dystopian factor. At the same time, I do want to give this deck another go. I like all his decks. I like the other two so much. I don't use them as much just because I can't even remember their names, but the blue one, the one I got wasn't linen, it was a shiny finish. And the other one, the red one, I like that a lot. It's just not something that I use on a day-to-day basis. Anyway, I don't use any of my decks on a day-to-day basis. So I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm committed to giving this another shot. I use those two more often than this one, so this should come into my rotation more often. Okay, now that we have cleared the first 3 black decks, right, I want to talk about 2 other decks that are not black. They are kind of white, and the first one is the Whitefly Tarot. I don't know why this doesn't... I don't know. I like the imagery. I like the backs so much. I like the cardstock. But I just don't know. I feel like the deck doesn't have like a great cohesion between each other. And sometimes the minors kind of overshadow the majors just because the majors have a white background. It's meant to be. Then the minors have full-on imagery. But sometimes it's difficult to read. Like, I love this imagery. I love this imagery. Beautiful. Gorgeous. I really like the imagery here. But sometimes it's a bit cartoony. Like this one, the 7 of Swords. I honestly don't really know what I'm seeing. So that's the pros and cons of it. And the court cards are really cute. I really like the court cards, but it's also very cartoony. So it's very Disney-like. Versus how, for example, how this is drawn. So I just feel like there's some tonal shifts in the deck of beautiful 10 of Cups. 2 of Cups. So I really like the art. The artist is great. His name is Danilo Sanino. I backed him on Kickstarter, and I really like a lot of the imagery here. Wow, the 6 of Pentacles. Take a look at this one. Very nice. And then the Disney-like court cards. Yeah. And the pages all have a mask on, which is pretty interesting choice. But you can see how powerful some of his other images are, right? 4 of Swords, very beautiful. So I don't know what's holding me back. Maybe it's the cohesion, maybe it's just the difficulty in reading some of the minors here and there. It's something I want to work on. So this has been coming up on my Instagram more. So I hope I'll be able to use this better and use this more often. He even included the astrological signs, which I don't typically use, but that's super useful, right? Especially if I continue to study. Yeah, so I just can't wait to get back into this deck and really try to use it more often. Yeah, and use it more in my rotation. Okay, and my last deck that I wanted to show you is a deck that I bought with good intentions. At the same time, intentions are not enough. It's the philosophy cards, and I bought this deck just because I wanted to learn more about philosophy. So it comes with a little guidebook that really talks about the philosophy, but it is so hard to read. The formatting, the font, everything is so small. So I know it shouldn't stop me, but it does. And the art can veer from beautiful to a bit too simplistic. Like, I like these cards. I love this card, Metamorphosis 8. Is it Strength? Queen of Reason. Action. It just feels like some of it was a bit rushed. All these so far have been fine. But some of the cards just felt rushed to me. Yeah, this is another beautiful one, Throneless. Yeah, like this one feels rushed to me. But the cards are beautiful. Maybe just too simple for me to do any reading with it, I guess. But it's something I need to overcome, right? So this is another deck that I'm hoping to put more into my rotation. I feel like this deck should be used in something, in a more specific kind of situation. Like I won't use this for career reading. I won't use this for a love reading. This is a deck that I'm trying to figure out, when can I use this? How can I use this? And another thing is just I just don't know any of these. This 15, so I'm guessing it's 15 is it the devil? I think it's the devil. Yeah, so it's like I'm trying to figure out when I can use this. If you have any ideas of how I can use this, let me know. But yeah, so this is something that I hope to get back to, the philosophy cards, do some reading. Yeah, at the same time I'm still adapting to my new job. It's still taking me time, so I'm just putting this on the table, hoping that one day I'll pick it up again and do a reading. But I've been veering more close to the White Fly for a while, even though these 4 decks are on my table, and also the True Black, just because of the Ephemer Tarot. Yeah, so these are the decks that I wanted to talk about, my second chance decks. Let me know if you have any good experiences with any of these decks. Tell me how you've been using it, in what situations you've been using it. That will be super helpful. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and you have a good day. Take care. Bye.